We'll call to order the Board of Zoning Appeals. Would you please stand for the pledge of the flag? Michael, would you lead us, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. Please call the roll.
Keith Bratcher.
Here.
Joe Crowell.
Here.
Tony Webb. Joe Machoto.
Here.
Jerry Sartain.
Here.
Michael Rather.
Here.
Zane Cantrell.
Present.
We do have a quorum, and in the absence of Mr. Webb, Michael Rather will be voting.
Okay, thank you. You have the minutes of the last meeting. Are there any changes or additions to those minutes? Do we have a motion on them?
I make a motion to approve.
I have a motion to be approved. Do we have a second? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, like sign. They are approved. Let me welcome each of you here and explain just a little bit about our procedure, how we'll go with this. We will ask a review by our staff, and after that, we will ask those of you who have a proposal before us to come to the podium and give us any additional information that you may have about your request. After that, we'll have a public hearing for those of you who would like to speak. And you come to the podium, give us your name and any information you'd like to share with the board. The first item of business is a request by Terry Hackney, and this is on the extraction of dirt. And what do you have on that at this time?
Mr. Hackney has asked for a deferral until the February meeting to allow him to get the information in regarding property ownership.
Okay. There's a question about the ownership of property. Do I have a motion that this be delayed till next month? So moved. I have a motion to be delayed. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those like sign. It is delayed. The next item we have is a request by the Reams. They are requesting a cosmetology shop, and this is a major home-based business, and it's in the R15 zone. What do you have on it?
Application 2011-1, filed by Dwight and Janet Reams, involves the property located at 616 Joshua Court. It's a half-acre site that's located in a residential 15 zone. They are seeking conditional use permit approval to establish a cosmetology shop as a major home-based business in the R15 zone. The applicant is not proposing any additional employees for the home-based business, and she will not have business vehicles located at the home. There will be no more than 2 customer vehicles at any given time, and it will not have walk-in traffic. All of our customers will be appointment only. They plan to construct a 12 by 24 addition to their detached garage to serve the proposed use, and the applicant has investigated whether or not the soils on the property can accommodate the proposed use, and she has supplied us a letter from the Department of Environment stating that the site can accommodate the additional use. Staff has found that after consideration of all the criteria that the application meets the criteria for home-based business, provided that it continually meet the conditions established in section 705 and 1304F. She will be allowed, if approved, as a major home-based business to have a 5 square foot sign located affixed to the structure, and staff recommends approval subject to conditions. And this is an aerial of the subject property showing its neighborhood. We have received 2 phone calls from adjacent property owners, neighbors of the applicant, indicating that they are in favor of the proposed use. This is the structure, the residence on the site, as well as the detached garage that will have an addition built upon it. Staff posted the sign on the property, and these are photos of surrounding residences and the existing. And the aerial. That concludes our presentation.
Did it? Okay. Do we have anyone here representing this request? If you'll please come around to the podium.
Hello, I'm Janet Reams. I reside at 616 Joshua Court, and I am the one that is requesting this, my husband and I. And there was a part in the letter, a little addition that suggested we talk to someone at the Water Authority about our services, if it would be adequate, and I went there and talked to Mr. Elroy. I think it's Mr. Elroy, Larry, and he said that he saw no problem with that. And other than that, I don't think I have any additional.
Generally, you'll have 2 people maybe at one time that
Yes,
would come
sir.
in, no more than that.
There would be one with an appointment, and the only reason there would be another if they came before I finished with the first one.
And your turnaround is adequate, you
Yes.
feel? Okay. Any other questions? Thank you. We'll open this for a public hearing for anyone who'd like to speak on this request. Close the public hearing. Do we have a motion on it?
I make a motion to approve.
Have a motion to be approved. Do we have a second?
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Keith Bratcher,
Yes.
Joe Crowell,
Yes.
Jerry Sartain, Michael Rather, Zane Cantrell.
Yes.
Motion carries, sir.
Okay, it is approved. The next item is a request by Mark Burke, who is requesting a conditional use permit for a dwelling, establish an attached dwelling. Is that correct? It's attached to the building. And this is in an R15 zone.
Application 2011-2, filed by Mark Burke, involves the property located at 3780 East Compton Road. It's a 10.32-acre parcel located in a residential 15 zone. He is seeking conditional use permit approval to allow the establishment of an attached accessory dwelling that exceeds the 25% of the principal structure limitation. The proposed dwelling unit will be constructed and attached to the existing principal residence that measures 3,500 square feet. The proposed ADU, or accessory dwelling unit, will measure 1,780 square feet, and that comes out to be 51% of the size of the principal structure. That automatically thrust them into the category of needing a conditional use permit rather than being able to construct it by right. Staff has reviewed the proposal and finds that it meets the criteria for a conditional use permit approval, subject to conditions. And I will go over some photos. This is aerial photograph of the property. It is actually 2 5-acre parcels that have been combined into one, but it's not been updated on our map. So you see 2 parcels, but that outlined in red is a total of 10 acres. This is the existing structure that the attached dwelling will be constructed upon. Just more photos of the surrounding area. It's rural in nature. And the applicant has provided us with elevations and floor plans of the proposed dwelling unit, and that was included in your packet. However, we have included the elevation just so you can see what the final product is supposed to look like. So we recommend approval. We posted the sign on the property, and that concludes our presentation.
Okay, do we have anyone here that's made this request?
Yes, I made the request.
Could you state your name?
Oh, my name is Mark Burke, and I am the homeowner and requester. This is going to be a mother-in-law's apartment, so I thought the major issue was going to be it having a kitchen, I think, in it. So,
Any questions?
for the most part,
Just one. I'm sure you adding this onto your house at a later time when your mother-in-law doesn't reside there. You don't plan to make this any type of rental property or anything like that?
No, as long as we live there, the current plan would be as we age is for it to become our master suite, so it's all on one level. So it's actually been designed to where the entire built inside can be completely reconstructed, no supporting walls, anything like that, so we can come in and completely remodel.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions? Thank you. Appreciate it. We'll open this for a public hearing for anyone who'd like to speak on this request. Close the public hearing. We have a motion on it.
I make a motion be approved.
Have a motion to be
Second.
approved. Have a second. Jerry, second. Call the roll, please.
Keith Bratcher,
Yes.
Joe Crowell. Yes. Jerry Sartain,
Yes.
Michael Rather,
Yes.
Zane Cantrell.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, it is approved. The next item we have is a request by Planet Green, and they are requesting storage of 2 trucks, 2 vehicles on their property, and this would be inside of an existing building that was there for agricultural purposes. And I would spell out the requirements as set forth by the Planning Department that can only store 2 trucks. The access road has been identified and must be only accessed to the property through this road. No garbage that is collected may remain in the truck or brought onto the property. And the expiration of this request would be null and void at the sale of property if the property is sold. It does not go with the property. So those are the major items that have been requirements that have been placed on this property. Okay, what do you have on it?
Okay. Application 2011-3, filed by Planet Green. Brian Amamali is the owner. Involves the property located at 12147 Pate Road. It's a 103-acre parcel that's located in the residential 15 zone. He is seeking conditional use permit to allow the establishment of a major home-based business, permitting the storage of business vehicles used in association with garbage collection in the R15 zone. Mr. Pate is seeking the approval just to be able to park and store his vehicles overnight, a front loader and a rear loader, on the property. The trucks leave in the morning at approximately 7:30 and return in the afternoon. The applicant states that absolutely no garbage will be brought upon the site, and that the proposed business will have a total of 2 employees. Staff considered, the criteria for major home-based businesses in addition to the conditions recommended and spelled out by Chairperson Cantrell. The proposed request, if approved, will also have to meet all of the conditions that regulate major home-based businesses and any home-based business. So there are a variety of conditions that are included in a staff report that prevents the proposed use from becoming a nuisance to surrounding property owners. And also the conditions that Mr. Cantrell read aloud, recommended by staff, would be added to those conditions just to ensure that the proposed use does not become a nuisance to the property. We've taken photos. This is an aerial of the property. You see two parcels outlined in red. The first parcel that has direct frontage on Pate Road will be used only for the access road, and then the access road will cross that property towards the rear of it to gain access to the property in question, the 103-acre parcel that has the structure that the trucks will be stored in. And this is the gate to the access road from Old Pate Road. And another photo from Pate Road. And the easement that multiple residences use to access their property, including the applicant to access his residential structure. However, the applicant states that this easement will not be used by the garbage trucks. And property across the street. This area is rural, large acreage tracts. And we posted the sign on the property. And you can start seeing the accessory structures located on the property. The applicant's not proposing to build any new accessory structures, but would like to store the trucks in an existing structure that was approved as an agricultural structure, and this is it. Oh, and that is, sorry, that is the gate at which, this is where the point where the access road enters the property at which the vehicles will be stored. And this concludes staff's presentation.
Okay, thank you. Do we have someone here representing from Planet Green representing this? If you'll come around, please.
I'm Brian Momley. I'm the owner and the one that put in for this request. Basically, had started this little thing, volunteered, and then I got on with the Smyrna Fire Department. My brother and I, we do this. I work weird hours, so he helps me step in and take in when I'm not there. And we have the two trucks that are parked in the building there, and when I'm not there to take care of it, my brother is. And everything is emptied. By 3 o'clock, we have to be at the transfer station, and just asking for this request just to park the two trucks there.
Okay. Do you, where are you currently parking your trucks?
They're inside the metal building that's on the plan right there.
How long have you been operating this business?
We just got going with the two trucks, everything. We just had two smaller little pickup trucks we're using. We got just those two trucks since February of this year.
Okay. Just the two of you are operating the trucks?
Yes, sir.
And what are the hours that you're picking up the?
We approximately leave out. We do 3 days a week, and we usually start around 6 o'clock in the morning. I usually get off 8 if I'm on shift, and I'll start helping out. And they're usually in from 6 a.m. is when they go out, and they're out all day. They dump, and then they come back in roughly between 4 and 5 o'clock is when they're finished.
And this is, you said 3 days a week?
Yes, sir.
What are the 3 days?
It'll be Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Pardon me?
Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Okay. Any questions? Joe?
Right. Where
Yes, sir.
do you wash these trucks? And how?
We have a company that we get to wash it. Also at the landfill when they dump out, they have a hose where you can hose it off in the back and stuff to clean out the backs, and they got tools and rakes and everything to clean so that inside the truck is completely clean.
One other question.
Yes, sir.
Would you go home with a partial truck, or would it be clean when you went home?
What's that, sir?
Would you go home with a partial truckload?
Oh, no, sir. With a partial truckload? No, sir.
One question. Do you reside at this residence?
I do, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Any other questions? Michael?
I've got just a few. Mr. Crowd alluded to washing those trucks, and I understand at the landfill but have you ever washed those trucks on this property?
No, sir. We have never washed the trucks, so there's no runoff or any access or anything for, any garbage or any debris to go off there.
No maintenance on the trucks?
No, we have our maintenance guy, he's in Christiana that does all our maintenance. The only thing that we would do there is, top it off with oil or something like that, just, some simple maintenance for it. But our maintenance guy, he's off of Christiana, off 269. That's the guy who does all our maintenance on our trucks.
Okay. And you say that you've been parking those trucks in this building?
Yes, sir.
And they fit?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
They did. We cut the door for the big one, another big one, but it does. Both the trucks fit in there, the front loader and the rear loader, they both fit in there because it's a pretty big structure.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you. You may be seated. We'll open this for a public hearing for anyone who'd like to speak on this request. If you'll please come around and give us your name and any information you'd like to share.
My name is Gil Towery, and I live at 12145 Pate Road. And first, I'd like to just pass out some information.
Thank you.
Could you repeat your last name for me, though?
Towery, T-O-W-E-R-Y. I've lived with my wife for 25 years next to the property and the applicant. I am against the conditional use permit for the home-based business and storing of trash trucks. This business is a commercial trash hauling company, not for storing 2 trash trucks. Excuse me. Never done anything like this.
It's okay.
For the last 1.5 years, trucks full of trash several times weekly are coming down the paved 10-foot easement of Pate Road and leaving empty. They're full of trash when they get there. We have no reason to believe this will now only be storage for 2 trucks. This business is picking up all types of trash according to their website, and a letter from the Annandale subdivision in Williamson County and bringing it to Pate Road with the trash in the trucks. Trucks travel fast down the road and easement and are in the full sight of the daily. Trucks travel fast down the road and easement and are in full sight daily of our neighborhood. Trucks and heavy equipment are coming in late into the nights. Garbage compactor noise is heard late hours with front loading operation. Fires are burned frequently. We have extreme environmental concerns. Horrible smells frequently this past summer. They were burning the trash. It was air pollution fires. It smoldered for hours, and we could smell it for days. Concerns over the unknown contents of the trash trucks and compactors, diesel, gas, antifreeze, and bleach leaking from the trucks and contaminating the ground and the water. We are downstream from where the trucks, trash, chemicals are stored, which is within feet of a deep quarry pond that's on this property and overflows to a stream bordering our land. We, along with most neighbors, drink and depend on the well water. We're not even drinking our well water right now because of what's been going on back there. We are worried about the property devaluation the business is causing us. We live close to the business and daily contend with the trucks and equipment. This is not a rural area where the trucks are out of sight. This is a residential area of beautiful homes and land. Pate Road is on a very dangerous curve and we've had several accidents. The road is unmarked by lines. Trucks top the hill fast in the middle of the road. The stop signs are constantly knocked down, and our easement and Pate Road is coming apart due to all heavy trucks and machinery. The gravel road in the permit has rarely been used and would be unusable in the winter months or heavy rain. I saw the trash trucks coming down our paved road today. The trash trucks and business already have a substantial and undue adverse effect on our property value, land use and health. The business is commercial and should have EPA and OSHA monitoring in a zoned industrial area, not next to our homes. The permit application states that they have another location. The trucks, trash, and employees should be moved to that area. Please do not pass this conditional use permit.
Let me ask you a couple of questions here. In the application, we have here requirements that they can only have 2 trucks stored there. There cannot be any garbage brought onto the property. Are you saying they're bringing garbage onto the property now?
Constantly.
Still on the trucks?
Constantly.
And they have burnt garbage on the land?
Yes, they have.
Have you verified that? You've seen that?
You've got pictures right there showing a plume of smoke that just hung in our valley.
And how long has this been going on?
A year and a half.
Okay. Any other? Yes, Keith.
Yes, Mr. Tyree. Kind of go back to what the chairman spoke on. What are you talking about the burning of trash you believe on this property and smell and stuff like that? I mean, when's the last time you witnessed, the burning and stuff?
There's fires back there constantly.
Okay. And let me ask you this, and you said this has been going on for approximately a year and a half. Have you called our codes department and made any complaints?
Several times.
Okay.
Other people have called too.
Okay.
To no avail.
All right. With that being said, do you know if anyone from our codes department contacted you or any of the other neighbors and said, hey, we investigated this and this is what we found? You yourself?
I haven't myself, but other people have.
Okay, but I'm saying you yourself, have you called and made complaints?
No.
Official complaint. All right, sir. I'm not saying that it did or didn't happen. I'm just saying I know they made this application to store these trucks here, and you've taken the pictures of these trucks and stuff coming in there. I'm just trying to say if it was me to live there, I would make a formal complaint to try to get this stopped, period. I'm not questioning. I'm just saying you saying this is going on. It concerns me. I'm just wanting to know if you'd made any complaints to our codes department and what they had told you or not told you. Thank you.
Can I say one other thing?
Oh, yes, sir.
Sure.
They were turned into the EPA, and the EPA contacted me about it, and I stated to them that it was going on, and they did come out and investigate it, and supposedly they made them clean up where the burn pile was.
Yes, go ahead, Joe.
Both these trucks I see a picture of, they're open top. I think that's against the law and all. Commercial garbage, commercial rock or anything in Norfolk County without any cover. I know it is rock for sure, and the dirt.
All garbage trucks must be covered.
I'm not sure, but I think
It is true.
both these trucks are open that I see. It looks like maybe a 3/4 ton, a ton truck, and a large truck. They're both kind of open trucks. And I guess kind of against the law. I'm not sure, but I think it is.
I don't believe that the trucks that are in the photos that was supplied by this gentleman are the same ones that the applicant is seeking approval. He's asking for a rear loader and a front loader, and those would be the only two that we can.
They no longer use these trucks then?
That might be something that the applicant can answer.
No, that came down the road today.
They running this truck?
That truck right there.
I just want to interject what he said, but what you're saying, Danielle, and I believe that to be true. In the application that they're seeking today, though, is they may be already using these trucks, but in their application they're seeking to have a front loader and a rear loading trucks. Is that correct? That they're going to park inside of it. I'm just trying to clarify something.
Under the home-based business, you can only have 2 vehicles that are associated with the proposed business. Now, he might have a pickup truck that he uses personally that would not be associated with the business, but, I mean, if that's used in garbage collection, that would make it 3, and our rules specifically prohibit 3. It's 2 business vehicles. I wouldn't know how to classify that.
Well, we'll get to the bottom of that in a minute. Any other questions? Yes.
I have one, Mr. Towery. I'm noticing in a letter here that, and I quote, which is within feet of a deep quarry pond. How many feet do you think that is?
Well, it's right there next to the building where they're supposedly putting the trucks.
And that pond overflows into a stream?
Excuse me?
That pond overflows
yeah.
into a stream?
Oh, yeah.
And most all you guys out there on well water?
Every one of us on well water.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, another thing about my well water, I've completely quit using that because of what's been going on out there.
Let me also say this to you. The only thing that we're looking at here is the storage of 2 trucks, not the operation of a business. If he's in violation of operation of the business, that's something else that would take place through our enforcement department. So the only thing that we're really looking at would be the storage of 2 vehicles. No garbage on the property of any kind, no burning of any kind. These would be complete violation. So we'll need to get to the bottom of that before we make any determination. And he's said that there would be only 3 days. So do you feel comfortable about that, or do you feel like this?
Could you say that one more time to me?
Okay. He's saying that he would only pick up garbage 3 days a week, another operation. In other words, the trucks would go out, they'd come back empty, and the 2 trucks, and they'd be stored in this building. Now, he'd have to comply with the law. Can't be anything else.
Well, I'm telling you.
There'd be no burning of garbage on that property. One of the things about these permits I want to point out to you is that you have some legal power behind you once they are implemented, okay? Without them, you're kind of on your own out there. So I just point that out to you. I'm not arguing one way or the other, but you need to understand how these permit works. If we approve this, he can only have 2 trucks stored there. He cannot burn garbage. He cannot bring garbage onto the property, and it must be undercover those 3 days that he's using it. And he must use the access road as defined by our planning department. So those are the strengths of this. Okay. Now, are we saying he can't operate a garbage? No, but he still cannot bring it on his property. If he's been doing that, that's probably illegal anyway. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm telling you, he's doing it.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to point that out to you so you know what we're doing here. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Next. Yeah, we will, but let's hear from the folks out there first. We want to hear from the neighbors before we move any further on this.
Good evening. Thank you. My name is Tiffany Jones. I'm the commissioner for this district, and I would just like to stand up here and let you know where my side of the request has come from. Mr. Amamali did contact me and asked me if I could be here on his behalf. I looked over the plan that I received in the mail. I have not received any complaints from any neighbors or anybody on this request. I think if what's laid out in the application, if that is followed, then I don't see a problem with it. And I agree with Mr. Cantrell that this would give some legal teeth for the neighbors, that if they are seeing an issue or if they're not following through on it, if they're using a different road, then they can call the codes department, and that should be able to be taken care of through that. Otherwise, right now, there's really not any legal teeth behind what's going on. So this would define some parameters to the business and the use of it on their property. But once again, I haven't received any complaints or any concerns from residents on this.
Let me point out to all of the neighbors out there too, if this is approved, and I'm not saying it's going to be, I'm just trying to interpret the law for you, then some teeth would be placed into it legally, and the county would be obligated to enforce this contract, and it would go through the DA's office if there was a violation. All you would have to do is contact the codes enforcement, and they would investigate, and that would put the burden then back on the county to show that these people are operating carefully. I just wanted you to understand this, okay? And I'm not trying to take any sides in this. My job is to be neutral on it.
And on that note, I do not know any of the prior background on this situation. All I know is from the application and looking objectively at the application, and then also the fact that I have not received any complaints from that. Thank you.
Wait a minute. Any questions? Yes.
Mr. Towery gave us this packet, just tonight, and that's the first time I'd, seen. Do you have any of this information?
I have not seen the packet, no.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you. Appreciate it. Next.
I'm just going to add a couple of pictures to the ones Mr. Towery did.
Thank you. You have a next one here.
Okay. My name is Ron Case. I live at 12149 Pate Road, which is directly adjacent to the applicants. I live in between them and the Toweries. I also am strictly opposed to this. I'm just going to quickly tell you the three photographs that I showed you. The first one being the trucks that are in and out daily. They come in full, they go out empty. So the business is being operated daily at their residence. The second photograph, and I do have a color one, I apologize for that one, it's an aerial view of their property. This was taken back in November of '09. And if you look behind the property, you can see a white area here that shows it's a pit. The third picture is actually more of a close-up of that area. This picture, I can pass it around to you also. Zoomed in on it. It is trash. It's tires. It's old. It's trash that was collected that was dumped back in this area in this pit. Like I said, we are on well water. All of this debris filters down into our water, which, like I said, we no longer drink either. We drink bottled water. So I'm not opposed to anybody trying to start a business and run a business, but not when it's at the expense of their neighbors. Me, personally, I'm totally against it. Like I say, this has been going on for a year and a half. His statement in the application that the business won't be run from the residence, it's false. It's being done every day and has been for a year and a half. So that's the position I'm at. The EPA, like I say, was involved with this back in November and all through half of last year. They did contact Mr. Towery and myself. And then I'll just go ahead and say I did call the county here. I don't know a date when that was, but it was back in the first of last year with complaints about this. So along with, like I say, the EPA was contacted, so I strictly oppose it. Because like I say, the trucks are in and out every day on our easement, which has now been torn up because of the traffic.
Any questions?
Yes, sir. You talked about the EPA was contacted, you all and another neighbor. Do you know what, after you said they went out here and looked, investigated, whatever. Do you know what their finding was? What did they tell you anything?
They came back and just said that whatever they found that would be cleaned up. And I'm sorry, I don't have the gentleman's name. He was in Nashville. I could get it. I probably got it written down at home somewhere.
What you're saying, the response you got from the EPA on this right here was that the site was to be cleaned up for whatever they found. And
Right.
as far as you know if that was done or not?
I do not.
Okay, thank you.
Joe?
Sir, you're saying they run these open top trucks daily or enclosed?
Yes, sir. Open top, just like that. That's,
Run in the last few days?
yes, sir.
All of you are on well water, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
You don't have
I do not have
utility
public water.
district
I do have access to it. I've been there 10 years, and I've never had reason to until the last year and a half. I just don't see the need to pay that. I didn't until now of tapping into county water.
Okay. Any other questions? Jerry?
Could you tell me the last time or approximately the last time that you knew that something was burning back there like garbage?
I work during the day, so I don't see it as much, but I did probably a week and a half ago see smoke from the area. We are more or less downstream. Everything, the wind seems to always blow from that direction to ours. We're constantly picking up trash and debris from our yard, out of our yards that comes from that area. And as far as the smoke, probably a week and a half ago was the last time that I witnessed it.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Come ahead.
Hi, my name is Cindy Davis. I live at 12146 Pate Road, which is right across from where they're wanting to do the gates and trucking. My water is well water. We have no city water out there where I am. Where they are, they do. And it is oil, it's transmission fluid, it's black. We cannot drink it. We've not drank it in a year. I have reported this. I have called codes. I have talked to Nashville. I'm not saying that their business did this, but something has done it within the last year and a half. Nobody out there can drink water. Yes. I have seen that. I have seen that. I leave my house at 6 o'clock in the morning. The last time I saw that was before Christmas. But, you know, I have cows, horses. We don't even feed them. We don't even give them that water. We are having to bring water in. And that's expensive. You know, we can't do it no more. Our ponds, our creek, it's bad. It really is.
Thank you.
We own a farm. I'm sorry, I'm Brenda Carter. My sister Cindy, we own the farm across from the applicants. Our main concern here today is the water runoff, the well drinking, because of our cattle, because of diseases and leakage through the land. We don't know what it's going to do in the future, and we really have a concern here. I personally have witnessed, if this is an issue today, the trucks being uncovered, coming in full, going out empty. That's a personal testimony. I'm there all day, every day. My sisters go to work. I'm a stay-at-home home engineer, if you may. So that's my only complaint, which is
Thank
really
you.
huge.
Come ahead.
Hi, my name is Sonia Robinson. I'm also concerned about the water, but in addition to that, I'm concerned about the safety. As Mr. Towery had mentioned, these garbage trucks are big trucks, and you know, that's a little country road. As he said, there's one corner that's really bad, that several wrecks have been there. And I would hate to see a garbage truck coming around that corner in a car and have an unnecessary accident. It's a rural area. It's a little residential area. And in addition to the water, my main concern is the safety of not only my family, but anybody that drives that road. That's all I have.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Anyone else? Please come on around.
My name's Jacqueline Bush. I've lived in this area since 1981 with my parents, and we own the property next door. This was all recently brought to my attention, and the other day I was going to the doctor. I had a 10:15 appointment. At 9:30 we were going around the curve by Pate Road, and me and my husband were almost run off the road because a garbage truck was trying to make that into that curve to go down the Pate Road. Why they didn't take the fork, I don't understand. But I have well water. We've always had well water. And within the last year, my kids are complaining of, my 13-year-old says his chest hurts. You know, I've gone to the doctor for my heart because I've had discomfort. My husband's had stomach problems. This is information about possible trash being dumped is all new to me. We just found out the other day. And we've been drinking our water. We had no idea. So I don't know if there's any consequences from this, but this is all information that I think people need to be heard. And this was at 9:30. This truck did not leave early. It was returning at 9:30. So if it was taking a break or dumping trash or whatever, they were there. They were there at 9:30, not in the afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you. Wait just a second, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Have a question.
You say you and your husband were leaving your residence, so this truck was coming back? Is that what you're saying? Let me ask you, was it a truck like this?
No, it was a big white garbage truck.
Okay.
Me and my husband thought that they were picking up trash out there because about a year or so ago, somebody was offering to pick up trash. But he told me, because I said, they almost ran us over. We almost had to go in the ditch to keep from being run over.
Okay, so you're saying it was like a big white commercial type garbage truck?
Oh, yeah, it scared me.
Okay, all righty, ma'am.
We were in an SUV. It would have been bad if he'd have hit us.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Come on around.
My name is Ken Duncan. I live on the corner of Hill Road. I would like to just ask some questions, actually, in regards to what is required for these type trucks. My understanding is the pictures that are taken of are smaller trucks, but the request is for what I would consider commercial garbage trucks. So my questions become, are there requirements to the roads that would require weight for the pavement for constant traffic of these particular trucks? Are there access requirements in this particular curve? It is what you might consider a 90-degree curve, and you are taking two roads off of that, two accesses out of that 90-degree. So are there access requirements for these trucks? So if the permit is accepted, I can accept that, but I would want it to be, the roads also to be protected so that as we travel them each day, we're not dealing with cracked roads, potholes, because of the weight of these particular vehicles on an everyday usage. If the roads are not set for that, they are narrow country roads.
Well, you had some good questions, and I think those are some questions we need to explore here to make sure we understand what's being proposed. But then the key to this, in the way I visualize it, would be their garbage trucks would be those that are covered.
Yes.
Okay? Now, do I know that? Absolutely not. I'll be the first to admit that. But the question before us, and we don't need to lose sight of that, may they store two trucks on this site under cover? That's the only thing that we will be dealing with, is whether they can store those two trucks there. Now, if they are bringing garbage onto the property, that would be a violation of this contract.
Right.
okay?
Yeah.
If they burn garbage on this property, it'd be a violation. Some of these things we need to nail down to be very specific before this board makes a decision on it one way or the other.
And the only reason I bring up these questions, I work for a university in Nashville, so I deal on a regular basis with garbage companies and these large trucks. And we do have to increase capacity of our asphalt or concrete to allow these trucks to enter campus. There are certain areas we don't, because they do cause damage to the concrete or to the asphalt. So those are just some technical questions that
well,
I may have.
if they are operating a business, regardless, if we say, look, you can't store 2 trucks there, they can still drive up and down that road and pick up garbage if they have a contract there. This is not going to prevent that. So we need to understand that. If they store the truck some other place, they will still be in operation.
Yes.
So.
Well, are they operating in that area? Do we know that?
And if it is approved, the 2 trucks, then the access road would have to be as identified here. So those are the key elements to this.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you. Anyone else? Please come on around. Both of you, come on. That's okay. All of you.
Hello, my name is Jim Watson. I live at 12774 Patterson Road. I have a little hearing problem, so if I say something that I'm out of line, don't just tell me. I don't have a problem with anybody having a business in the Patterson community. I was born and raised there. Some people know me, some don't. I was gone for a while. Went to school at the old Patterson schoolhouse. What I hate to see is something that's going to mess our community up. Now, I happen to be a customer of these gentlemen. They pick my garbage up. I pay them to do so. Started out a year and a half ago, picking it up twice a week, Monday and Wednesday. This year, they've knocked it back to once a week, pick it up on Monday. I have seen more than 2 trucks. There's open-top trucks. There's 2 compactor trucks. I don't know if it makes any difference or not, and I don't care what they do with it, but there are trucks going back there with garbage on them. They're storing garbage somewhere. I don't know, because the landfill does not stay open at night. And just last week, if I'm not mistaken, it was one day last week, was between Christmas and New Year's. One of the open-top trucks came in. It was after dark, headed for Pate Road, flying. Okay? Now, I might have to take my garbage to the trash convenience center after this myself, and I don't have a problem doing that. I was doing it for convenience, but I did not know. They were told me when I started business with them that they had a compactor, that they would compact the trash. They would unload it out of these empty open-top trucks, pack it down, and when it got full, they would take it to the landfill, I assume. Now, they've used the open-top truck, and they've used the compactor trucks also. So, I don't know. I just don't want to see my community messed up. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next.
Good evening. Good evening. I'm Jeff Morgan. I have property on 12150 Pate Road, very close to this subject. I'm a paramedic that works at Vanderbilt. I've been living in this area. Went to Eagleville way back in the early 80s, and I mean, this is home, and my home area is Rutherford County, and it just has been just recently brought to my attention about the dumping, but I have, back in the summer, I would smell these very strong industrial smells of something burning. It's very strong, and I just couldn't imagine what it was. And then I hear this today, and And as a paramedic, it just very concerns me because I have 35 acres. And when I was growing up, I had a dairy farm. You get up every morning, milk the cows, weather like today, and you milk them every night. And whatever dairy cow eats comes out in milk. We sold milk at the Heritage Dairies here in Murfreesboro, and I remember in the spring when the onions would come out, you would smell the onions in the milk. And I don't know any farmers who can afford to buy city water for cattle. And I think it would be dangerous if this has been going on. I just heard them mention this business with the trucks been going on, I think, since February, and it wasn't next month. It's been going on for a year, and you know it concerns me if y'all have heard that this is complaints by other neighbors as it's in the water. They can taste it. It discolors the water. And by giving a permit, you're giving permission. And, you know, I hear on news in Dixon County, there's people suffering today from a dump site many, many years ago. There's people with cancer and babies being born with birth defects. And if y'all are given a permit, then you're given permission to do so. And it's just over 100 acres is a large area of property to put a lot of trash. And I don't know, personally, I like I said, I've just smelt things burning, but I just know from what I've smelt, and also the neighbors complaining of the drinking water. It's just very, what you drink, you can add all kinds of chlorine, but chlorine don't get rid of lead, don't get rid of mercury. There's just so many things that can be in a dump site. If, this is indeed a dump site, and, you've heard enough people saying they've seen trash come in and the trucks leave empty. Well, if they're covered, then how will you know? If the trucks are covered, how will you know whether they're empty or not? You won't be able to see the contents. And I just really have a problem on the health side of the issue as a paramedic. I've transported many patient children and adults who've had cancer and have had problems. And I believe an ounce of prevention is worth many pounds of cure. I appreciate you listening, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Next.
Good evening. My name is Mike Finley. You may have me down as J.M. Finley. I live at 4141 Hill Road, and I'm Jackie's dad. We have well water. Of course, we have city water as well. But it sounds like to me that this hearing was for them to get park 2 trucks in a shed. Is that not correct?
That's correct.
And so anything else would be decided at another time and place. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Again, I will say this: we're not. If this request is approved, we're not approving a garbage dump on this site. Cannot be that, and you cannot bring garbage in the truck onto the property. And I think we all believe in the rule of law, and if this is approved, it will be for only the storage of 2 garbage trucks inside of this building. That's the only thing that we will take up here, and understand that we're not approving anything else. Anything else that would go onto this property would be a violation of the law, and we must adhere to the rule of law. I'm going to ask Brian to come back. Brian, we have some very serious charges here. One thing that bothers me, have you been operating for a year and a half in this property?
We have.
Have you brought garbage onto the property and burnt garbage there?
No, sir. I'll clarify that because everybody's with the whole burning.
That's okay. Wait
Okay.
just for a minute. The trucks that we're talking about storing, are they these type of trucks? It's pictured here.
No, sir. We're not using those trucks anymore.
We're not talking about, we're talking about those trucks that are covered and would be compacted, the garbage in it. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And there would be only two of them.
Yes,
You
sir.
understand that?
Yes, sir.
You understand that the only thing that we would be dealing with would be the storage of those two compact trucks
Yes, sir.
inside of that storage building.
Correct.
And you cannot go down that other road to access the property.
Right.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
Also, if you're working later in the evening and the landfill is closed, you cannot bring that garbage truck onto that property. You would have to take it somewhere else.
Right.
Now, I'm going to open this for questions from the board.
Brian, what was your last name?
Imam Ali.
What's that?
Imam Ali.
Okay. Let me ask you something. This vehicle right here, I know you say you're not using no more. Is that your truck?
Yes, sir.
It's full of trash. It's going on to the site where you're saying, you made application saying that you're not going to be.
Right. And
okay, I understand.
Yes, sir. I just want to clarify because we
I'm
have.
going to let you answer, but I just want to make sure that you're saying that is your truck that you're not using anymore.
Yes,
That's going
correct.
on your
Yes, sir.
property. Okay. And you do say that you have been running this business for a year and a half.
Yes, sir.
With not a permit or anything. And you do say this is your truck, and you show that trash has been coming onto your property. The other question that's been brought out says that the EPA was contacted and came out on your property.
That's correct.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And there's also been some complaints of saying that there's been fires and burning of trash on there. Is that correct?
That's the first I heard of was the complaint.
But what I'm saying though, there's pictures and stuff that shows that there's fires coming from your property. I mean, you own that property. Has somebody been else out there burning without your knowledge?
No, sir.
Okay, so you do say that this is correct when they say some trash has been burned on your property. Let me ask you this, and I'm not trying to act like an attorney or anything. I'm just trying to what's been presented to us and give you a fair chance. There's been like an aerial photo here, and is that your property that's in this photo? It shows where there's piles of trash and stuff on your property. Okay. With all that I've brought out and ask you understand where there seems to be a lot of issues with your property. And when you come with this application and saying that you want to have two trucks here to store, and you're not going to be bringing trash onto your property, and you're not going to be doing this, but there's a lot of issues and a lot of violations that's already been going on here. You come with this application, and it's hard for me to want to support your application when you've already been violating a number of things that you say that, do you understand where?
Yes, sir. Could I speak?
But I'm going to allow you to answer whatever or the questions I've asked you. I mean, you can go ahead and.
Okay. The first thing on the fires, there's two things there. We have a furnace that heats our house, and it does our water and everything, and it burns 24 hours a day. We burn probably 2 to 3 trees a day in it. So if they say they've been seeing smoke or whatever burning for last week, whatever, that's what it's from. It's a big, huge furnace. It supplies heat for our house, our barns. It does our water heater, does everything else. So and like I said, it burns in 2 to 3 trees a day. So it puts out a lot of smoke, and that's that's where they've been seeing smoke from. I'd like to clarify that up as well. And we have cattle and everything else, and we have well water. Our water's fine. I know this thing is not about water and everything, but you know, we have cattle that we use for our own production that we take to the slaughterhouse and we eat. And, you know, we wouldn't be dumping trash and burning trash whenever, you know, that's a part of our life when we raise our animals there and we eat it for our own consumption. And, you know, the pictures you've seen there that we cleaned it up, that's, you know, been a year and a half ago. We had pushed up, and it had been there stuff for 25 years. If they say something about tires or whatever, when we had bought the property, it was cleaning up fence lines, everything. You know, that's it. EPA came out there, Mr. Jim, he came out there from Codes. We showed him everything, and I'd like to invite all you guys as well. Anytime, any day, come check us out, see our operation, see what we're doing. We, you know, we're not doing anything we shouldn't be doing, and you know, I'd like to, you know, say that.
Well, let me ask you this, Mr. Wright. When you were running this business, I mean, and I know you say the EPA's come out there, but one thing that still concerns me is, you know, why would you have thought that you could go out and collect trash and then come back and dump it on your property in mass amounts like this? I mean, that really concerns me.
Right, that there we're collecting, you know, we got my grandparents' mine, our house, our barn, everything. That trash there is our personal trash there. We did not bring that in. We did not dump that anywhere on our property. That's our personal trash. Like I said, that truck, you know, is not in operation. You know, today we got our front loader that runs one day a week on Monday, and our rear loader is the one that we run on the rest of the routes. And that's, you know, that's what we got. And the only thing else I have is my pickup truck and my farm truck. That's it.
So in other words, and I'm gonna quit beating this horse to death, but so with this truck like this, and you acknowledge this is your truck, and your truck's going into your property full of trash. So where were these trucks going?
What's that, sir? Where
were these trucks going if they're full of trash and they're going into your property? And you said you're not doing that. I mean, so where are they going?
That come from that picture there is taken coming from my grandparents' house. That's what I said. We pick up their trash, we pick up our trash, and we take all our trash, and we take it all, and we have a dumpster that for our personal property, an 8-yard dumpster, which you saw in the picture there. That's our personal dumpster that we dump our trash into.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions? Michael, do you have a question? Joe? Do you have a question? Okay, thank you.
Can I say one more thing?
Sure, go ahead.
You know, and you know, I started out doing volunteer stuff, and you know, I know what can be burned and what can't be burnt. You know, so I don't know why they say we'd be burning trash illegally for whatever reason, and why we'd be dumping stuff into this or dump this into that. And like I said, we're on well water. That's what we're on. And I know, like I said, I know this whole thing isn't on water, but I know apparently that was the subject here, and we, you know, raise our own animals and everything is fine, and our water's fine. So that's all I really have to say about that, you know.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your time.
All right, I'll allow any other comments. If you'll come around, please.
Johanna Towery, 12145 Pate Road. Okay, I did not want to speak, but when he got up and said that trash is from his house and his grandparents, they live at the end of the road. That trash was being brought in, and the trucks were going out. And I'm just asking you, please, if you give him a permit, it's just given that it's coming in past my house.
You say this truck here is coming in?
In. I am. That's my home. That's my mailbox. That is going in. I live in the first house. The other picture in there is the truck leaving out without trash on it. And in.
How long has you seen this open top?
In the last week. So if that's not his, I would. Yes. And if those are not his trucks now, if you approve this, I would like to know what trucks are going to be in there, because I guess he's buying new trucks. And the compactor front loader thing sits outside. And that they're bringing in the trash and putting it in the compactor.
So you're saying that right truck's in loading and
in.
Put it into a compactor to compactor?
And I'm very worried. I have like some other sheets where I can show you where that little pond is, and the compactor is next to the little, it's a quarry where they had taken out a lot of rock, and it's very deep, and it goes into a stream that borders my property. And we are on well water. The Anomalies are on city water. They've got taps, and they're drinking city water. And us and all the other people, we didn't want to spend the money for the city water. So, you know, we're still on our well water. And the thing about the fires, those pictures were taken in the summer. I do not think they're burning fires for their furnace, 2 or 3 trees in the summertime and putting metallic smell, like Mr. Morgan said, and a fire. And that's, I mean, they're not burning trees in the summer to heat their house. So I'm just, please do not, if you give them this permit, I know you're saying that would give us a legal thing, and that's, you know, a lot of us haven't done anything because, you know, we don't want to hire an attorney and stuff, but if you give them this permit, it's just giving them more reason to have the business out there.
Well, I'd ask our staff if we had any history of the operation out there. And
I believe people have called about it, and
who did you call? Did you call the
I didn't
codes
call.
enforcement?
My husband and I wanted to stay quiet about it. We did not want to get in a thing with our neighbor because we live in the first house and we have known him for 25 years. We don't have a problem. I hope they make lots of money. We don't have a problem with the business. We just don't want it in our area. The EPA was called by some other neighbors, and we did know about them coming out, and I know some others have called up here. But nothing was done, so, okay. But now that this has got to this point.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. Commissioner, do you have any other comments? I don't want to put you on the spot, but you know, you're out there on the ground, so to speak. We do like to hear from the commissioner of each one of these districts that connected with it.
But I just want to make sure that everybody understands that I do not know about any of the past issues. And, you know, I don't know if they have been doing this or if they haven't. I'm just glad I don't have to make the decision. I'm glad I'm not in your seat right now. I've made plenty of those myself. So looking at the application, once again, I think that would give us if there was another vehicle that was being used that was not allowed on the application, then a neighbor could call in and it would be investigated. If there was a vehicle stored on the property that was not stored in the building, that would give us, a neighbor, a reason to be able to call. This is tough. I'm like some of the other comments. I fully believe in business and small business, and I want people to be able to run business, and I want it to be ran legally. And so this gives some guidelines.
I got a question for Mr. Jones. I have about 9 names in your district that want, that's 90 votes, and you still want it passed?
I'm not saying that I want it passed or yes, sir.
90 votes in your district, and you still want to go get these 90 people to pass it?
Are you asking me to make the decision for you? Because I'm not on this board. I don't understand why I would have to. I'm saying that I don't know the past, and I haven't heard from anybody else, and so I can't make the decision.
Let's
and
stop.
What I'm saying is that's your decision to make. That's not a decision that I have to make. Yeah. I'm just saying that I haven't heard from anybody else, and that's why I'm standing up here to you to say that I've looked at the application. From the application standpoint, the application looks good, but I'm saying that I haven't heard from anybody else. I don't know. This is your decision to make. Luckily, I'm not on this board, and I don't have to make it because this is a very tough decision.
Yeah. Thank you, Commissioner Jones. We didn't mean to put you on the spot on this because
it's fine.
it is, you're absolutely right. It is a difficult position. Looking at just strictly the paperwork, you know, that it's something that we deal with every day on this board. But there are always underlining other problems of trust, problems of the history of violations that have happened, and those are all the things that we take into consideration when we're making a final decision. It's not just parking the 2 trucks, but we also want to listen to the neighbors, and I also want to listen to the commissioner in that district. And it is difficult. And let me assure you this, regardless, if the 2 trucks are approved to be there, we're going to be out there and we're going to verify this. You know, it's just not a trust factor. We're going to verify that they are living up to the letter of the law. If it's turned down, just remember, they still can drive up and down that road and picking up people's garbage. So I'm not sure you're going to have as much of support as you would with the letter of the law if it is approved. So.
Saying that I don't have proof to back it up, and I don't have proof to back up what the anomalies say. I don't know. I have not been invited out there to look at it. I could have asked for permission. I'm sure they would have let me, but.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, we're going to close the public hearing.
Chairman, I just got a question. I guess I maybe can throw it out there for our attorney, and I don't want to put him on the spot either.
Put our attorney on the spot.
But the statement, has been made that if we approve this application, that it gives us some teeth to do something. But if this application is not approved and he continues to do what he's doing, then he would be violating. He'd be violating the law because he doesn't have a conditional use permit to run a home-based business, and if he's dumping, that's definitely illegal. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is if we don't approve this and he continues to go along the basis and doing what he's doing, he'd still be violating the law.
Well, excuse me, if you deny the conditional use permit and there is a violation, it's not a violation of any condition that this board's put on him. It would be some other violation, and I do not know specifically what the violation would be, but he would still have the ability to operate and do what he's doing now. It would just be without any enforcement penalty-wise from anything this board issues.
Did you all hear that carefully? Thank you. Michael, go ahead.
Well, first of all, I certainly appreciate the commissioner I've got in my district, and I just wanted to thank Ms. Jones for being there tonight, being involved in her district, regardless of which side of the fence she sits on in this issue. It's nice to have commissioners involved on this level. But I've got to clarify something, and Danielle, you may need to clarify this. What we're doing is looking at an approval for a conditional use permit for the establishment of the business. And part of that is the 2 trucks. Is that right?
That's
correct. So we are looking at the establishment of that business at this location that involves having 2 trucks. Is that correct?
As part of the business, it would permit the storage of the 2 trucks and is used in association of the business. It's likely they have a home office that they process their billing in, but the 2 trucks is specifically why he's coming before the board. The conditions that control home-based businesses, in addition to the ones that we added, would, if you approved this application, would he has volunteered by his application that he would comply with these conditions.
Right. I just need to clarify because I kind of misunderstood that we were really looking at 2 trucks. But what we're really looking at is the fact that this business has been operated on this site for quite some time without a permit to do so. And so now he's going through the process of getting the approval for the business here tonight, and then the conditions that staff has put on there we're considering tonight is the limitation of the 2 trucks.
Mr. Amamali's application was the result of code enforcement going out to the site and recommending that he come to the planning office and discuss what his options are. And after Mr. Amamali described the nature of his business and what actually was taking place on the property, he was advised to apply for the major home-based business.
That's a good point. So you're saying this is, he has two requests before this board. He has previously not been approved for a home business.
No.
Even though he's been operating as a home business.
That's correct.
Okay. Thanks for clarifying that.
I want to clarify on that. And you're saying the reason that Mr. Anomaly is coming before to get this permit now is because codes was called and a complaint was made, and they went out there and found out that he was running a home-based business without a permit.
They discovered that trucks used in association with off-site garbage collection were being parked on the property. Even Mr. Amamali indicated that Jim from Codes had gone out and discussed the nature of his operations with him.
But I'm saying the reason, if he admitted that he's been running this business for a year and a half.
Right.
And the reason being that he's coming for application now is because Codes went out there and found out he was operating this business.
That's correct.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Any other questions? Any other comments?
I do have some comments, Mr. Chairman. When Mr. Momley came up here, I have a lot of issues with this application. One of them being, I know what's been stated and what he's applying for, but I have a lot of issues because it's hard for me to believe that this gentleman's been operating a business for a year and a half, and the only reason that he's coming before now is because he was tagged by our codes department. And from all the indications from the neighbors out there, the pictures, their testimonies, that he's been bringing trash and stuff onto this property. Uncovered trucks, that's a violation of our county codes. EPA has been called to this property, and as he's alluded that be the truth. There's just all kinds of issues with this property. Could be environmental. I don't know if he's been dumping illegally on this property. So for me, it's hard for me to believe that he's going to comply with what he says he's going to do in his application, because that's already been proven that he's not been doing that. So that's all the comments I have.
Michael, do you have any other comment? Joe? Well, we're not ready for one yet. I'll wait. Jerry, do you have any comment? Okay. We want to be completely fair on this request. My perception was that this business had been operating for a year and a half, and evidently it's been operating in violation of the law. So we've got that problem to deal with. It's not just the parking of the two trucks, so this is establishing also the business. And so we've kind of centered in on the truck business instead of the business. And it looks like there are some problems with the operation of the business if it's been in violation of the law for a year and a half. So that's something the board needs to consider in its deliberation here. So I think we're ready for a vote. I think we're clear on this. And let me say this to the neighbors. I'm so glad that all of you came here to give this testimony, this information. I'm appreciative of the county commissioner who also came and looked at it. And this is the way we gather evidence on this board, because we don't always know what the actual operation of some of these business requests that we have. So I thank all of you for being here. This is the democratic way to getting down to the bottom of business. I'll entertain a motion on this now.
Due to past history and violation of clean night and local
Okay, we have a motion that this be denied. Do we have a second?
Second.
Michael, second. Any further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Keith Bratcher,
Yes.
Joe Crowell.
Yes.
Jerry Sartain,
Yes.
Michael Rather,
Yes.
Thane Cantrell.
Yes.
Motion
The
carried.
applicant is denied. The next item of business is a request by Ed Stevens, and this is a variance for relief of a reduction of a front yard building setback and the variance for the setback requirement for a canopy at a service station. So in this one, we also have two requests coming for us. What do you have on it?
Application 2011-4, filed by Ed Stevens, involves the property located at 2502 Blackman Road. It's a 0.6-acre parcel located in a retail and wholesale trade zone. They are seeking variance relief for the reduction of the front yard building setback requirement of 70 feet to 50 feet and a variance from the setback requirement of 20 feet to 17 feet from the right-of-way line for a canopy associated with gasoline pump islands. The applicant is proposing to construct a 20 by 30 addition to the existing convenience store, as well as extend the canopy to cover the installation of a new gas pump on the site. The site has frontage on 3 roads: Manson Pike, Manson Court, and Beasley Road. And they are, for all frontages, they have to provide 70 feet for front yard for all the front yards that have access onto a public right-of-way. The lot width is 143 feet, so staff finds that the proposed request does meet the criteria for a variance and that there are unusual characteristics of the subject property and practical difficulties affecting the subject property. And staff states the building setback for commercial properties is 70 feet. It has frontage along 3 roads, and it only measures 0.606 acres in area. And it would be difficult for them to construct anything, much less additions to an existing structure. We've taken photos or the aerial photograph of the site, and you can see it has driveways onto Manson Court and Manson Pike, and then the use across the street, the Blackman Grocery, the intersection, and you can see the existing canopy there that will be extended. Another photo of the intersection. We posted the sign on the site. That is the elevation at which the addition will be constructed upon. They will continue to meet the 80% maximum lot coverage requirement for commercial properties. And you'll see the canopy and the new gasoline pump will be installed down here and the canopy extended. And this is a site plan supplied by the applicant indicating the location of the extension and the addition. And we did receive several informational calls and received a letter that I distributed to you prior to the meeting. And there was a gentleman who had issues regarding the location of a sewer line. There is no sewer line on this property. We contacted the city of Murfreesboro, and they indicated that sewer was not extended to this area, but there is a water line affecting a portion of the property, but not the area that is being disturbed by the proposed addition. The letter also indicated concerns about the transportation plan of Murfreesboro and that a 5-lane road would be constructed in this area. And according to the city of Murfreesboro, the right-of-way has already been acquired to accommodate a 5-lane road construction project. And there was another concern about the addition being a kitchen and the original site plan for the project, approved in early 2000, indicated a note that the health department said absolutely no food preparation. That would be, if a kitchen is proposed for this, they would of course have to get approval from the health department. That is something that we wouldn't be involved with, but demonstration or a permit from them would have to be received before getting a building permit for a kitchen facility. Staff recommends approval, and that concludes our presentation.
Okay, we have someone here representing this request.
Good evening, I'm Ed Stevens, representing the owner of the property. Due to the 0.6 acres and the 3 streets on 3 of the 4 sides, we're trying to get a little bit more than the 1,500 square feet of store that's there, and 600 square feet is about the maximum that we feel like we could add and not impact the area anymore. We're maintaining the existing overflow field for the septic system plus the secondary field, so we're not doing anything with that. And the existing parking pretty much is going to stay the same.
The canopy, as I understand it, what you're wanting to do is move it 3 feet out further.
Right. Well, extend it to the top of the page where we could add 1 more dispenser. Right now, there's 2 gasoline dispensers. We want to put 3 in.
The people who would access it would still have what, two spots to come in from the front?
Correct.
Okay.
You'd have the 3 dispensers, so you could have 3 cars on each side of the islands.
Okay.
And then as far as the transport, bringing the fuel in, the loading and unloading of the tanks is going to remain the same.
Okay. Any questions?
Would adding this extra pump, does that require, this kind of has something to do with it and kind of my curiosity, would that require you to do anything with the storage tanks underground?
No, existing tanks are going to remain the same. Okay. It's just a matter of extending the pipe.
Just adding a pump.
Right.
Joe?
When your tanker brings in the fuel, where does he park at to fill?
You see where well, she's circling where the tanks are right there. He pulls in, and they pretty much have to schedule their unloading around business hours to where they don't conflict with their own business, which they don't want to do.
Any other question? Jerry?
Yes, sir. We understand about the island and the extra gas pump. What's going to go in the 600 square feet?
Basically, just an extension of the existing convenience store to get some more square footage.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? Thank you, appreciate that. We'll open this for a public hearing for anyone who'd like to speak on this. Let the record show there's no one here. We have a motion on it.
Make a motion be approved.
That's for both of them, right?
Second.
Second. Call the roll, please.
Keith Bratcher,
Yes.
Joe Crowell,
Yes.
Jerry Sartain,
Yes.
Michael Rather.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Yes. It is approved. Is there any other business? We are adjourned. Thank you so much, everybody.